This is your daily market recap for Thursday, May 18th, 2023. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market review for Thursday, May 18th, 2023. Let's get into it. A lot of people asking questions about when's this end, what's going to happen, what's going on. Again, as we've talked about, the anticipation of a bear market continuation based on the continuation of a recession. Well, guess what? The market's making people think that there's zero chance that's happening, that we're going higher. Well, as we've said and say it over and over, even if the trolls don't listen, you got to be careful. You got to define your risk. Got to be willing to accept that you can be wrong. And a lot of people say, well, what if I just go long now? All right, well, you're playing the game the wrong way. Usually you should anticipate moves, not react to moves. People who are jumping into things at these prices probably going to regret it. No different than at the lows, things look like they can only go lower. And sometimes at the highs, they do what? They look like they can only go higher. So please be careful, be thoughtful. And if you have any questions, always, please reach out. Here to help. If you're following, please check us out on Twitter. Posting a lot of stuff that's going on. Thought today was going to be a trap. Not so much. Again, Thursday of OPEX can be a top/retest Tuesday the following. We'll see. I mean, again, at this point, there's some levels. We'll talk about it when we get into them. If you're newer to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Tons of videos in the Back to Basics series. It's all on my website also as well, thetradingagent.com. More beginner to advanced videos as you go through this. And yeah, let's jump into it. Something changed today, which is interesting considering the data slowing. Anyone notice that the odds of a rate hike just increased? Remember it was like 80, 90% pause. Now we're up. So you can see where it was 1 day ago, 1 week ago, 1 month ago. So interesting. Bitcoin slipping, tired, doesn't look that good. We've talked about this. Oil, it's going to be choppy and sloppy. I mean, I think max upside 80s, min is 60s. But unless the market peels like an onion, it could just trade in this range. Nat gas, not surprised it bounced. We talked about it. It's like due to chop around. I mean, I guess the best way to say it is it's going to do what it's going to do, right? Like, do you want to buy it right now? Come on, show me the past. What happened? It's like, nope, not interested. Let's see if I can refresh. Yeah, leave page, whatever, don't care. Refresh me. Yeah, I mean, it can play games. So a lot of people getting excited about it. We again talked about, like, this area probably was the low, but, I mean, just be thoughtful. That's all. I mean, that's all I can warn you on. Again, if you're playing UNG, remember, I'd rather play it once it reverses splits. But, hey, if you bought it at $6 and at $7.50, it's a good trade. You did good. You done dead good. So let's jump into it. The dollar, you're welcome. Talked about dollars going higher. Doji sandwich, another gap and go. I mean, I don't think there's a lot to say here. We anticipated the dollar going higher, but the reaction in the market, not as obvious. Didn't think that would be the case. But again, remember, the market can do things temporarily for what? Just for the purpose of doing what it's doing. Out of whack. Draw people and get people to do the wrong things at the wrong time. TLT, this has got to be concerning too. Interest rates going higher. I mean, I'm not the interest rate whisperer, but I do know that there's tons of these, like, because again, I deal in real estate, like a lot of these mortgage brokers, they're all like, watch, the rates are gonna go lower. You gotta, buy now, refinance later. And it's like, okay, we'll see. Rates lower it not soon, in my opinion. But we'll see. It fills this gap down here. That's what I'd be watching for, because we did fill this gap. Is there another gap? I mean, again, it's the TLT. Gaps don't have to fill. But be aware, this could be a bear trap. TLT makes sense to me, actually, for a trade, if you want to buy it. What stops? VIX, unreal. Again, VIX termination. What do they do? It's just mean how we're chopping here. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this is what's so hard about timing things and knowing what day. And this is what I try to explain, like day trading. Like, good luck. Like, if you think the market's going to fail when the day that you think it's going to fail, you're going to find out many and many times over. It doesn't have to play the game that way. All right, here you go with what? Good old VIVIX coming back down to the trend line. That's what I'd be watching for. I think that makes sense for, what I would consider if you're looking to add shorts. I mean, added a little bit today. Felt confident about it, but yeah, let's just get into the SPY because this is where it's getting tricky, right? Tricky, tricky, tricky. You're into old resistance. You're at the channel high, filling gaps. Could get a 421. Always possible. Squeezing here with some volume. It is interesting at the end of the day, though. Check this out. Look at this candle. I mean, we squeezed up to almost 420, and someone sold, liquidated. I'm sorry to say that, but that is, to me, liquidation up there. I would think, people squeezed to buy, right? And then smart money going, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Take my shares as you cover your shorts. We'll see. Keep an eye on it. Q. Unreal. This today's move. 1.8. I mean, I'm amazed. Oh, God. Yeah, my computer froze and shut off earlier with some lightning. Yeah, here, let me try to draw this, cross it. We are here. We are at what I think is probably going to be high. And I always talk about high volume highs, high volume lows. Y'all, and again, people don't do this shit. I don't know why, excuse my language, but they start drawing trend lines alone. Just keep an eye on it. Like, this candle acts like a tractor beam. It has muscle memory. Now, again, could you get up to 341? I guess. If you want to play the game that way, we're in there. We're into it. So just keep an eye on that. There is liquidity at this point. IWM all over the place today. But again, lagging. Just be careful. I mean, again, hold on. Let me look at the QQQ 10-minute as well. I forgot. Yeah, big volume at the close. Very tight action. IWM, lag. DIA, same thing. Lagadocious. Just lagging. Keep an eye on it. Gold. A lot of people get mad at me for saying, hey, take your profits, raise your stops. Dollar was showing things. Double top. Talked about silver leading the way in the miners. Yeah, ugly, right? GDX and GDXJ, we talked about once the 33 level broke. Adios. Now again, second quarter, said there's weakness, seasonality, just leave it alone. Again, wait till the Feds pivot. I'm telling you, that's the best time to buy this stuff. And at this point, we talk about lower highs on the GDXJ. It was just obvious. And now, again, does it have to go down a straight line? Can it play like walk down the steps slinky action? That's what I'd be thinking. AG, are you with me? Yeah, probably holds at the 6th level. Again, I wouldn't buy again, I don't think these names are long-term buys, in my opinion, for a while. AEM, we talked about bull trapping, coming back. Newmont's been lagging so hard. Ugly. I mean, you think it'd be up here. PAAS, same thing. Lagging ridiculously hard. Just leave these names alone, y'all. AMD. Interesting action today in semis. Again, tons of upgrades, tons of ridiculousness. Oh, man, my thing didn't pull across. We're in this euphoria phase, right? Could we get to 110? I guess. Anything's possible. But these straight line moves, I mean, they're pretty silly in my opinion. Again, I don't know what to tell you other than at the lows, straight line moves typically bottom. At highs, straight line moves higher, typically the top. Seen it here, saw it here. We're getting pretty vertical. Just keep that in mind. Micron, talked about the 67s potentially if we zoom out. We had some lightning and it cut off the computer. It's on backup battery, but the backup battery didn't do its job. Yeah. Where's this high volume? It's up here. Could we get up there? Yeah, I guess that's always possible. Just check this range reference area, right? Just keep an eye on it. Because again, it's tough to know for sure. This is why I tell you, you can't. If drawing charts is all that it took to win in trading, everybody would be rich. Taiwan semi, here we go. Coming up to a next resistance zone. I mean, if it gets back to 97 after Buffett sold, I mean, God knows what's going on. Keep an eye on it. This stuff looks, again, juicy, but define your risk. If you want to be late, you can be late. Don't put yourself in a position where you have to do something and just will do nothing. NVIDIA, look at that. I mean, this is like blow off high volume. Like, look at the volumes today. It was pretty high on the 10-minute too at the close. Yeah, you've got. I mean, again, it's adding like I think the amount of the price of the move in the last 2 days or 3 days, whatever. This is equivalent to like almost like 2 or 3 years in revenue added to the market cap. I mean, this thing's trading at ridiculous future numbers, but we'll see. I don't think it'll sustain. Straight line move at the top. Intel, same thing, just or not same thing, but just lagging. Looks like crap. SMH breaking out into the what? Old ranges. We'll see. I mean, it's the top of the VAP zone. I wouldn't be surprised if people come in to sell here. How much higher? It's tough to know. Adobes, we talked about this M top and then chopping. These names, again, every name in this is either looking straight line movish or just, it's hard to tell. Like this, like trading range, you could call double top, double bottom. Just watch the zones, right? Why is nothing pulled over? It's like nothing is pulled over. Pull over. No. Apple talked about this one, right? Like how high can it get? Good question. But if you're watching this thing, just have in your mind, like there's, just watch it. I mean, it's really hard to say what's like the next move on this. Why is it? Oh, it's weird. I personally don't think it's going to go higher, much higher, but it's just chopping. I mean, they can always, this is what's so hard about earnings, y'all. And I try to explain this to people, like they can, or not even earnings, but just like the market, they can rip things much higher and lower than you think before it goes. And if you're not aware of that, like this is what happens. Like just look at this. Now you're right back up there. Everything's fine, right? Amazon. We talk about these getting beaten. Rallying back. Do you trust them? Know the zones. Well, here you go. Next one, filling the gap, 0.618. Pick your names. Be careful. CRM. I mean, tech is obviously the hardest short. No one's going to argue that. Talked about the 200 level. Well, now it's rebuilding, going higher. Guggenheim, again, supposedly they're taking over ChatGPT. That's the next, like, just nonstop blah, 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 blah. And here you go, coming back into reference highs. Alarms are set. Keep an eye on it. Remember, high volume highs, lows, all this stuff, ranges, just, again, put them in the map. Meta, chopping, breaking out, light volume, tough to trust. Feels very temporary-ish. Microsoft, we talked about getting stuck around 312, 313. Oh, going a little higher. When in doubt, look to the left. Gaps fill. Got your range highs. Can it go much higher? Good question. I mean, again, I personally think a lot of this is just setting traps. But the traps are hard to know when they're going to shut. This is when the things get irrational. This is where people who, when they're extremely scared, should act, and when they're extremely confident, they should be selling, but they don't. Like, that's what the market's going to do. It's going to paint people into a mental corner just so they can't act. NDAQ, we've talked about this thing lagging. MicroStrategy, chopping. Netflix, okay. Making sense? No, not really, but coming up into the range highs, this makes sense to short. Back test that trend line. Maybe if it gets 386, that would be pretty nuts. But again, if you don't want to go long or short, sometimes just step out of the market. I say this a lot. If you don't know, don't throw. Don't take bets if you're not sure. Roblox getting into the gap. Tesla, just meh. Soros sold his whole stake. No one's surprised by that. The guy was hating on Elon for a while. Just chopping around. Tough to say. Material names, as we talked about, who've been lagging. No dead cat bounces. Material names should be leading, or should be looking good if economic growth is coming later. The Feds are cutting. Chopping. Caterpillar, again, someone's talking about short, and I was like, nah, just kind of wait. You know, maybe 200-day, 100-day, 50-day cross. VALE, valing it, going nowhere, chopping. Arrow, as we talked about, this is an interesting name. Just keep it on it. Filling the gap. Does it go higher? Does it pull back? CCJ. Again, I hate to say this. That means people thought this was going higher. I think it's still just in a plane of just lacking existence. Nowhere. Leave it alone. CF, we talked about them probably bouncing if these range. Like, it's going to be choppy, so know your range lows. Mosaic, same kind of thing, right? Just chopping. Chop, chop, chop. New lows, probably bounces. We talked about this because NTR really, to me, kind of gave a signal like someone had some stopping power. Chopping, so 20-day, I don't know. I mean, just make sure you trade around these positions because at any point, if the market peels, I can't you can't know for sure what these are going to do. AA, nothing. I mean, all these names just look sleepy, right? The market isn't consistent. Like, it's just certain things going up and everything else not. XLF, now it got over the mid 32s today. It looks okay. Just be careful. Could it get back up into 33s? This is where you have to trade around your positions, raise your stops, and just do what the market's going to do. Keep an eye, because it get to 33, no doubt. Never know. JP Morgan, what happens if it gets to 141? You know what to do. Morgan Stanley, we talked about this one's just lagging. Could it, I don't know, 20-day, 50-day cross, probably. Goldman Sachs. What do you think? I mean, all these names, just not too excited. KRE got a little bounce today. How exciting. But, I mean, again, we talked about oversold potentially, and here you go. Like, here comes next resistance, right? High volume highs, high volume lows. Could we just somewhere in this range? It makes sense. Maybe in the 50-day. I don't know. Again, I don't know. It's hard to tell. And these, like, this is what I try to explain. Like, you can trade your whole life, and you're going to start realizing at times you don't know what is going to happen. You just don't know. And so people are always like clinging on to certainty, and like, this has to happen now. This is what's going to go. I'm telling you, don't do that. XBI, talking about a blow off top. Here you go. Straight line, gave it back. See what happens. Solar, I don't know why StockTwits has banned me for talking about solar. I think it's a joke. We talked about this pop-up on the first solar news was a short. Again, say be careful with ENPH. I think it's going lower, but it could bounce because it's been hurt more. Sedge, if you shorted this in 310 to 310 plus, whatever, you're looking okay, holding up. If you shorted for solar, congrats at the 230 channel high. We talked about the 50-day retesting. Okay, that's pretty solid, giving it all back. Any bounce, probably just watch it for a short. HYG, talked about this constantly. Like, corporate debt does not look good. Doesn't look good. And market should eventually follow, in my opinion. Something, it doesn't have to necessarily follow, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not looking good. Let's end it with the oil and gas sector. Oil, USO, we talked about this. Is going to be choppy and sloppy. Be careful. UNG, again, I like it on a reverse split. Nice little volume today. I mean, keep an eye on it. Just trade it. I'm telling you, I don't trust it at all, but that's just me. ExxonMobil, if you shorted 115 to 117, I guess it got up to 119. That's crazy. Looking pretty good. 200-day, talked about it, could bounce. Just keep an eye on it. Oxy, look at there's so much like weirdness in the market. This is going nowhere. Chopping. XOP, not surprised, held the mid, like 110, mid-teen, 1-teens. Okay, just keep an eye on it. Right? Now what? You got EQT coming up, breaking out, question mark, maybe. PXD, here it is, chopping at the range lows, fills the gap, watch that 200 level. And finally, but not least, Flex LNG. Talked about post earnings, chopping around, holding the 29 area. We'll see what happens. All right, if you have any questions, please reach out. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations, thought process. Again, trading isn't easy. It's a probability-based game. If you're sitting in your mind going, this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen, the market is going to humble you at some point. And at the extremes, and if you know, and you've been following, you know what's up, the market does what? It makes you feel like it can only go higher. At the lows, it makes you feel like it can only go lower. So please reach out if you have any questions. I appreciate everybody. I will see you guys in the Discord room. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, your PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.